have a hair that's like something about Mary? I mean, it's not. Look. Is that hair gel?
Ooh, hair gel.
Okay. Welcome to the No Dick Pics podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Max.
Hi, Max. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Yeah? Feeling like yourself?
Almost.
Almost. Yeah. That's good to know.
Other than this beard's getting out of hand, but...
I love it. So rugged.
Hair is going everywhere. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding.
Yeah, so what have you been up to in the past week?
Recovering.
Recovering.
Just being busy.
Yeah. Yeah, the kids.
End of the school year, so kid stuff.
Yeah.
Recovering. Getting better.
Yeah. Do you want to ask me what I've been up to?
What have you been up to?
Just working, life. I know, I didn't have a good answer.
That's it? Like, you can't do that.
I don't know, I didn't have a good answer.
Why don't you tell the viewers who we're talking to today, or who you're talking to today?
So, yeah, Max had a schedule conflict this week, and I ended up doing the interview with our guest one-on-one, which actually worked out because it was a little, girls' day. But I met Amber at a wedding a couple weeks ago. It was actually supposed to be our first, date out with, other people, and Max got shingles, and so Amber ended up being my date. We were at the same table. Her date wasn't able to show up either, and so we hung out with each other and had a great time and bonded, and she is a trip. I sent you some of the stories.
Yes, it's very R-rated.
This is not, this whole show is not safe for kids, but this episode is especially not safe for kids, not safe for work. If you're listening at work, put some AirPods in, which you should do no matter what you're listening to, but especially our podcast, because you never know what we're going to say. But yeah, she's got some stories,
Juicy.
It is, it's a spicy episode. So, I already forgot what the topic was. Oh, what was it? Oh, hoe phases.
Hoe phases.
Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know, everyone at some point goes through a hoe phase in their single life. Did you go through one?
Well, kind of. So the perception is that men do it, but I think it's women do just as much as men.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if it was a hoe phase. I just went through where I wasn't in relationships. I was just going out and dating. And I never had a one-night stand. Mm-hmm. But, you'd go...
In your life? Or
No, in this post-divorce.
So did you go through a hoe phase when you were younger?
Not really. I would tell my friends and stuff that I'm getting more action in my 40s than my 20s, which is kind of funny. So, I would meet people, and some you would sleep with quickly, some you would have to wait, but yeah, I don't know if it was a whole phase. When I first got separated, my ultimate goal was just to sleep with someone, so I remember that's when I drove the outskirts of Indianapolis for a weekend to meet up with someone just to kind of get it out of the way.
To get it out of the way?
Yeah.
You're like, this has really been bugging me. I just need to knock it out.
When I think of hoe phase, so I just think of just 2 or 3 different dates in a week and hooking up with them and stuff. But
yeah.
But I guess it depends. Everyone is different on how they view the hoe phase or hooking up. There was a date. I slept with someone on the first date, mm-hmm. but we continued to see each other for a little bit. So that I don't know. I think, and I've noticed too, and dealing with a lot of women coming out of divorces, and same thing, kind of no sex the last couple years or whatever, and they're very frustrated, and I think they wanted it just as much, and so you kind of had a connection, and it was, some of the responses I would hear, one woman I remember, she was, I was oof, wasn't my best performance. I was I'm sorry, and she's I don't care, I just wanted to feel a real dick inside of me, and I was wow, really? And then you hear these stories of a lot. I've talked with people, one had her husband was addicted to porn, mm-hmm. and I kept hearing that, and I heard some had major ED issues, ED issues where the one said he had to take a shot.
Oh my God.
To put some guys think they have ED issues. It's just because, and they really don't. It's just because it's all upstairs, or I had a situation where someone I was with was just what I wasn't into, and I didn't do my best, but then I realized it wasn't me, it was her.
Who did you realize it wasn't you with?
Huh?
When did you realize it wasn't you?
The next person I was with.
Was it the next person or was it me?
Oh, somewhat you, and somewhat the
Okay.
next person
I'm
too.
trying to take credit
Yeah.
for finding your
Sure,
mojo.
sure, yeah. No, no. I mean, sometimes you just you don't feel it.
Mhm.
Like you might be beautiful on the outside, but if you're ugly in the inside and just or kind of don't mesh with you,
Yeah.
I think a lot of women that are divorced and coming into a marriage, like I think like the sex was bad at the end just because they weren't in love anymore or whatever,
Yeah.
and you just and then you meet them and it's just like yeah. So I don't know. I guess a good thing is I've never had a complaint, but guys always overthink stuff,
Yeah.
and sometimes like sometimes they just want to just be with you, and regardless of like if it's good sex or bad sex and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know it started off as like if it was a whole phase, but you realize a lot of people are going through a lot of shit, and so sometimes
Mhm.
they just want to be with someone new, and
Mhm.
but I don't know if I had a whole phase, but I was going through some relationships.
I'm going through my whole phase right now with you.
Oh, I was about to say, wait.
No, no, just like it's
But it's
a
right at
monogamous one.
it's when after you get out of a bad relationship, and they say to take your time, but
Mhm.
most people don't take your time, and I don't think you want to, and that's when you kind of jump in the
Yeah.
pool and just kind of and you're finding out what you like, what you don't like,
Mhm.
because you've been married so long with the same person, you don't know like when I kind of surprise myself on some things too because you're just with the same person and you're just like you know like I'm very affectionate now. I like to hold hands, a lot of PDA, like a lot of making out and
Mhm.
stuff. But I was never like that in my marriage. I mean, we would do it every now and especially in the beginning. Obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, holding hands and kissing and stuff. But by the end, and but I just think it's like oh that's what it is, because even when you see people that are married for more than 10 years, you rarely see them still kind of really really into each other, like holding hands
Yeah.
and being next to each other. That's one of the things I noticed too. When you see people married for a long time, it's just kind of like not that they're not happy, but
Yeah. I think that's something we could like make a goal for like us, just like to make sure we don't stop like flirting with each other, and like we don't lose that because it's really cute and I really like it.
yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I guess you don't realize how much shit people are going through until you
Mhm.
actually get out there and you're like, wow. And that's one of the things why this podcast was kind of created, because it's like you're not alone, and because I like the first time I heard a woman say, oh, like something, and I was like, oh, that's odd, but then you just kept hearing it,
Mhm.
and usually coming out of a divorce, it's also they're not happy with the spouse, but also like the sex has gone away, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things like for I mean
Well, and you're getting this freedom that you've never really had. I mean, at least in my case, because I got married right out of high school. So, like, my ex was really my first real relationship because I had boyfriends in high school, but not really. Like, they weren't, it was high school. Like, so my marriage was my first real relationship. And so once that was over, it was like, whoa, I can do whatever I want with whoever I want. And I didn't really go through a true hoe phase because I met you pretty quickly, but I kind of did where I dated a lot of people in a short amount of time. And there was definitely situations that I didn't go into it thinking I need to go through a hoe phase. I had friends tell me you need to go through it and just like hook up with people. And I'm like, that's just not me. I'm not a casual person. But I kind of did without like intentionally doing it because like with the guy I went to the Christmas party with, like I knew I wasn't gonna stay with him, but I was like, I just really need to hook up with someone. Like this is just like an itch that needs to be scratched. So that's not my proudest moment, but it happened. And then even with, have I talked about him yet? We're gonna. I don't know if I should call him his nickname on here because it's too obvious. I need to come up with a new nickname.
well, I did the opposite, so I didn't get I didn't get married till like in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really like. I wasn't. I think I didn't do my whole phase in my 20s. But in my 20s, I would go. I mean, I'd go out. I'd meet people. I'd date. I was working, so I kind of did the opposite. So it's like, oh yeah, you get all your fun out of the way and you get married, and vice versa. I mean, regardless of what happens, I mean, it's just it didn't. But like I said, we didn't. My marriage. I mean, I'm still very. I mean, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friends with my ex-wife. And we get along fine. I mean, we probably get along a little bit better now than we did the last few years. So it's good. I mean, it's like it's not like a hate relationship. So that's pretty good. And so I don't know. Different people try different stuff. I just think at the end of the day, it's either going to work or it's not going to work, and things happen too. I was. If you asked me like my first 3 or 4 years of my marriage, I was like, no, this is gonna last. Like I'll be with her forever.
Well, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, but things change, things happen. But
yeah. So okay, I came up with a name. I'm gonna call him the Regular. I'm not gonna call him his nickname because his nickname's too obvious. Like he would know what it was if he heard it. But yeah, there was a guy who was a regular at the restaurant that I worked at, and he showed up on a dating app. Like he popped up as someone I could swipe on, and I was like, wait a minute, I know him. And I've talked about this in the past. Like he's the only person I have swiped right on first. Like he just popped up as someone for me to like pick from, not someone who had liked me already. The only person I've ever done this with. And I was like, holy shit, I know him. So I swiped right, and it took him a minute because I don't think he checked it that often, but he messages me. He's like, oh my God, hi. I'm like, hi. This is me outside of the restaurant. And it took a minute. It took probably a month before we started talking like in a flirty way. Because I was like, are we just friends? Because it's weird because you don't know the dynamic because like he was a regular. So he wasn't like someone I was like, oh, hi, I'm interested in you. I'm like, oh, hey, I know you.
Maybe you just wanted free food, huh? You didn't know.
He got a lot of free food from me. So I don't work there anymore. It doesn't matter if they hear this. But I was at the Christmas party waiting for, we're just going to call him Grocery Store Joe. He's not going to listen to this. Joe's such a common name. But I was waiting for Grocery Store Joe to meet me at this Christmas party. And the regular was texting me the whole time. He's like, hey, send me a selfie. I'm like, what? Because I thought we were just friends. And so I sent him one, and he was like, you look hot. And I'm like, huh, I know. But that was the first time he got flirty with me. And he ended up saying, hey, you should come over and watch a movie, which we all know what that means.
Netflix and chill.
Netflix and chill. And I was like, normally I would be like, no, let's go on a date and do something public first. But I didn't even cross my mind with him because I'm like, I know him. I didn't know him. But I'm like, I know him. That's fine. But I also was like, at this point, I didn't care. Like, I just like, wanted to hook up with someone.
You're in your whole phase.
Yeah, in my whole phase. So I went over to his house, went to his basement, which is how you get murdered. But I didn't get murdered. I did text my friend his address to be like, if you don't hear from me, this is my last known address. So, I didn't get murdered. It was fine. But it was like, when he said that, he was like, well, my bar is in my basement. I have a like home theater in my basement. Let's go down here. I'm like, oh no. Like the like red flag warning thing of like, don't get murdered.
But I think that's the opposite because I don't think guys ever think they're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. I mean, like I said, I've had women come over to my house for a first date, and some are comfortable with it. If they're not comfortable, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Christmas guy asked me to come over to his house like 4 times, and I said no. And then it wasn't until like after we were like just friends that I went over, and then I ended up dating him from that. But no.
I had someone tell me that they wanted to come over and watch a movie, like Netflix and chill, and so I'm like, oh my God, does she really want? And it ended up being that she was kind of having fun with it, with the whole Netflix and chill. And then, because we watched a movie, but it wasn't...
Was she going through her whole phase?
I don't know. So we watched a movie, and we made out a little bit, but then, like, the next time we talked, I was like, yeah, I was really... She's like, I was waiting for you to make a move, but I'm like, I got no signs. Like, she was like...
Oh, yeah.
But...
That's a thing. Like, there's some guys who don't care, which is... It's a little problematic sometimes. But I feel like you do have to put out some signal that you're interested. Right. And so, ladies, if you want to hook up with a boy, make sure he knows. Give him that green light so he doesn't feel like he's taken advantage of a situation.
Or you could just say, "Come over here and fuck me," and that's usually a good.
That's very to the point. Um,
Well, it's to the point
yeah,
with the conversation that you're
yeah.
going to be having.
But I feel, oh yeah, it is. But yeah, so I didn't go through like a true hoe phase. I don't have like a crazy high number or anything like that.
I was in a relationship and I knew it wasn't good for me, but I didn't want to go back to the dating pool. I was just like, I don't want to deal with that stuff again.
Is this the Mexico trip?
Yeah, so I stayed with her just because I knew it wasn't right, but I stayed with her because it was just nice to, to be wanted, and
Yeah.
you just don't want to go back into the dating pool. So, but it happens.
You're not doing that now, are you?
No.
Okay, good. So up next we have Amber. We're missing Max. She was very disappointed not to meet you, but we'll have to have her back again because I'm sure this girl's got so many stories. I actually had to cut some stories out because it was too long. So yeah, we'll probably have her back again so Max can meet her and have some, because I would have loved to see your reaction to some of these stories. Yeah, so coming up next is my friend Amber.
Well, I want to preface things by saying I'm not a whore,
Okay.
but
Me either.
I was very whorish in my 20s and when I lived in Arizona. And I am proud to say I've been disease free since '83. So it's
That's
all
great.
good. Yeah.
Great news.
I just want to preface that because I was like, as I'm coming up with stories, I'm like, oh my God. And then there was this time, and then there was this time. And
Girl,
then
there's no judgment here.
I know, but like, you never know. You never know. People
No,
be like,
no judgment. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you, and we'll do a
okay,
little like chit chat, and then
okay.
we can dive right into those stories. I'd like to welcome Amber to the No Dick Pics podcast. Hi, Amber. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So we met at a wedding like 2 weeks ago.
Heck yeah.
So we were
Table
we're
16.
at the same table. Table 16 was the best table. We were the best table, right?
We
Like, no
were.
offense to other tables, but
We
like
had the least amount of people and we had the best table.
we were there to party. Like, we were there. They put us close to the bar for a reason.
Yep. Yep. Sure did. I
Yeah.
took much advantage of that until that stupid server kept coming around and taking all of our drinks away.
Yeah, she was like ninja. I mean, I wasn't even done with my soup. My soup was gone. I went to get like another thing. I'm like, oh, it's gone.
Oh, my spoon's not going into anything. That's great.
Right. I'm like, oh, okay.
I wonder
So
if they did
yeah,
that to
but
the head table too. We'll have to ask
yeah,
Rachel.
I love her. So I was supposed to have Jared on tonight. He was a guy I very briefly dated,
Mm-hmm.
but he had a schedule conflict. So thank you so
Mm,
much for filling in.
you
I
are
appreciate
welcome.
it. And then
You
we
are
don't have
welcome.
Max either because Max also had a schedule change and he has his kids. And so it's a little tricky to record a podcast called No Dick Pics when you have 11-year-old twins running around. So
Yeah, that probably
yeah,
is tough.
so it's just me.
Well, it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we have good banter, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was such a fun wedding. It was so fun to like meet you and like chat
Yeah,
about all things, and
yeah,
it
it
was just like
was.
Rachel knew what she was doing when she was doing her seating chart.
She did. And I
Hmm.
originally wasn't going to sit at your table either. I was originally sitting with the family.
Really?
So, yeah, she switched it up and she called me a couple weeks ago and she's like, "I just want to make sure this is okay." I'm like, "Rachel, it's your wedding. Do whatever you
Yeah.
want. I don't care." I'm like, I'll be fine wherever I am." And then
Right.
my two dates didn't show up and your date didn't show up and we became each other's dates, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks for getting shingles, Max.
Yeah, thanks, Max. Still haven't met
Right?
you. Maybe someday.
Yeah. You still haven't met him. This
Hmm.
timing's unbelievable. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? What do you do?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm 41. I live in Wisconsin. I am a Cubs fan, even though I'm wearing a Brewers hat. The Cubs did play the Brewers this week. They were up here and the Cubs lost tragically. So Um, I work for a bank and I work as basically a call center, like one of the supervisor specialists kind of dealy, to where if there's an escalation from an angry customer that calls into the contact center or call center, that I would be one of the people that would speak to them. um, I have a 2-year-old dog, Cocker Spaniel, Phoebe. She is named after Phoebe from Friends.
Oh my
Because
God,
I
I
am
love that.
obsessed. I'm obsessed. I have a license plate cover that my boss got me that says, "Could you be any closer?" And then I have,
No,
yeah, this is the
that's
best one. I
amazing.
got a sticker off the Amazon that says, "This car doesn't have a left phalange," so that one's on my car too. So yeah, I'm like a huge Friends fan, huge Schitt's Creek fan.
Same,
Yeah, they're
same.
both fantastic shows, and I feel like that's why we get along so well. We didn't even know it until,
It works out that Max wasn't here because I might be more compatible with you.
yeah. Well, I do put out. You'll find out real quick.
Oh, yeah,
So,
same.
but yeah,
That's funny.
I'm originally from Illinois. I'm originally from Wakanda, Wakanda forever. And yeah, that actually I use as a pickup line a lot.
Do you?
If somebody asks me like on a dating app like where I'm from, I'm like Wakanda forever. They're like, that's not how you spell it. I'm like, that's how I spell it. So
Yeah.
leave it
Don't
alone.
worry about it.
But yeah, I've been up here for almost 10 years and love love being up here. I miss Illinois sometimes, miss my friends and stuff,
Yeah.
but I see them a lot. So yeah, so that it's nice now that, you know, I actually, what's funny is I officiated their wedding, which you know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and I also officiated my goddaughter's mom and dad's wedding. So
Oh, I love that.
I'm officiating the whole family. So if your last name is Brain, it's I'm the one to go to, apparently.
Okay, well, mine is not brain, but I'll keep that in mind because I didn't put this here on purpose, but I'm getting married.
I,
I got the bouquet.
what's
So
funny is I usually am out there like, all right, watch out, bitches. I'm gonna get this bouquet, and I didn't go out there that time. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of glad I didn't because it gave you a reason to, text Max and be
yeah.
like, hey, buddy, watch out.
People
Here
were like,
comes.
don't tell him. Like, you're gonna freak him out. I'm like, he is the first person I told. He goes, give it back.
Throw it back at her.
So yeah, he's gonna love this, that it's in the shot.
That's awesome.
Unintentional, that's just where it was, but I'm
Yeah,
like, hey, that's cute. I'm gonna leave it
just
there.
happen.
Yeah. So you were there when I was drunkenly telling everyone that I'm getting married.
Yeah,
I told everyone.
yeah.
Like everyone who came up to us, who I walked by, I'm getting married.
I'm getting married next. I got it. I got
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God. That was great.
yeah. Not exactly, but I'm working I'm working on it. I'm really not working on it.
Right.
Just because he's gonna hear
Max,
this, he's
don't
gonna
be
be like, wait,
alarmed.
wait, wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
I said, Max, don't be alarmed. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. No, he knows who I am. He's aware of
Everything's
what he's
fine.
gotten himself into.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, thank you for jumping on with me. I hear you have some stories.
I do have some stories. I lived in Arizona for 3 years, 3.5 years. It was in my 20s, and I definitely have some stories not only from my 20s, but just being on dating apps and being miserable. When
Mm-hmm.
when you were talking about in your first episode, you were talking about how um you met some guy like after 2 hours, and then you were like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like that's
Yeah. Look,
literally how
I
I
win.
like I won the dating app. I won it. Did I break it? Did I break the game? Um but that's like how I wanted to be when I first like started getting on dating apps. Is like I was gung ho, like ready to go, like doing Amber Hearts so and so all over my notebook, like,
Oh.
just like stupid little things, thinking that I was gonna meet the man of my dreams, like the first
Yeah.
day I was on it. Plot twist, did not. I did not. It's been years later, and I remember when I was traveling, we were doing. So I used to work for a very popular wing place called Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was a trainer for them, and we went around and opened new restaurants. So we trained people all at all different points of the restaurant, and you know, we were out there for like 3 weeks at a time. And sometimes I'd go back to back openings and I'd be all over the country. Well, during, God, it was probably like 2013, 2000, probably 2013 when Tinder started up. And one of the girls that we were like with was like, "Oh my God, there's this new dating app called Tinder. Like you have to download it." And we're like, "What is it?" And we're like talking about it. And she's like, "You literally just like swipe left or right and it like knows where you are, like your location." And I'm like, "This is perfect for traveling because we weren't allowed to hang out with the team members that we were training. Weren't allowed
Hmm.
to, even though most of us did. And we had to be professional, so like it was a good way for us to meet people. Um, cut to it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and I am banned from Tinder. I cannot I cannot start a new Tinder profile.
You're legitimately banned from Tinder?
I'm legitimately banned from Tinder. I cannot be on it.
For why?
Well, see, what had happened was is
That's a
there
great
was
start to any story.
there was a there was a fake man that was messaging me, and he was totally a scammer. Now, I work for a bank, so like we I see this all the time.
Right.
And it was like a romance scammer trying to like romance scam me, and it wasn't going to happen because I'm like, I'm too smart for that. No, thank you.
Hmm.
And he he was like asking me questions, but you could tell it was a scammer because he wasn't really listening to what I was saying. Like what I was typing back, he was like changing the subject or asking me something different. And I'm like, okay. And I jokingly said, "How much would you pay me to be your wife?" And he reported me. So I got banned because they thought that I was trying to scam people. And I'm like, "Listen, this motherfucker." So, I mean, it's good and bad because, like Tinder's not the best and it's sleazy and sometimes I can be sleazy, but whatever. But before there was Tinder, we had to go out the old fashioned way and
Hmm.
meet somebody drunk at a wedding or at a bar.
That's how we met.
Exactly, exactly. But I remember there we used where I used to live. We had like in Arizona, we had like the best like apartment complex, right? Like it was all people. Like I lived 2.5 miles south of ASU, so it was like, you know, and I was in my 20s, so like I wasn't going to college, but I was in a college town,
Yeah.
and there was a bar right behind us that we would go to every single day, and when I say every single day, like we went every single day, like every day, and we got out there. We left on my birthday. So my birthday's on Valentine's Day. We left on my birthday, got there in February 16th, and we had a blast ever since then. That Cinco de Mayo, I put on this shirt, you know, teach me to roll my R's because I was like, this is perfect. Cinco de Mayo, like, hello. And I really don't know how to roll my R's. I sound like I'm hocking a loogie or something. Like it's gross. So I put on this shirt and I meet and I also worked at the apartment complex that I was at. So like I worked there part time or I worked there full time, but I was off that day and we had this party and one of my residents like had a friend visiting from like Colorado or something and we like hit it off really well. The guy was like 5'2.5". Like he was literally
Oh,
a half inch taller than me. Like it was,
okay.
but I was drinking so much
We
that
the
I'm just
same
like,
height too? Because I'm five
probably.
two.
I'm 5'2" as well.
Okay.
We just become best friends. Yep.
Right? Are we the
um,
same?
we might be. Um, but yeah, so like he was literally 5'2.5", and I couldn't even tell you his name. And
Because
where
the height distracted you so much
it
from like
did,
learning.
I can't even remember his name, to be totally honest. I mean, it
I
was
don't want to hate
2006.
on like a short guy, but I would have the same problem.
I
It's tough.
couldn't,
Like,
he was staying with another friend that was like across like a pretty busy street. Like it was like a 4-lane street, like a major road. So he was staying back there, and I ended up like basically playing Frogger to like hop over there to like to hang out with him. I get in there, I have a cowboy hat on, teach me to roll my R's,
nice.
like I'm ready. I'm like, let's do this. Like this guy's about to see some shit he ain't seen before, like he's not seen in Colorado. So I like go over there and we're like messing around, like whatever, messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow all my clothes come off. And I was much
Oh
thinner back
no.
then, so
What
like I'm
happened?
like oopsie poopsie, I lost my clothes. Um, so like somehow all my clothes come off, and literally as he's like about to like take his pants off, I think. Like I don't even remember exactly what happened. He literally whispers in my ear and goes, "Sorry about the little guy." And I was like,
Sorry.
literally, I was eh? Like what? And I didn't comprehend it. I didn't comprehend right away, right? So like
Wow.
he was not kidding. I put my hand down there and I was like, I think my friends are looking for me. I should probably go. I should probably go. So I literally like gathered all my clothes. I left my fucking cowboy hat over there. I was so mad because I loved it. Yeah. And literally I called my best friend on the way back and I'm like, Maddie, you're not gonna believe this. Like I'm walking back across the road, across the busy intersection, and I'm like, you're
Frogger
not gonna believe this.
style.
I'm literally Frogger, and I'm like trying not to get hit by a car. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, and 1 o'clock in the morning in Arizona, so it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Chicago. So he's in Chicago, and I'm calling him, and I'm like, Maddie, this boy, just said sorry about the little guy, and he was not kidding, and he
Sorry
literally
about the little
lost it. Like he was like, I cannot even believe what I'm hearing right now. Like this is insane. And
At least it gave you a heads up.
that's exactly what I was saying. I'm like, at
Oh
least
my
he
god.
told me, and he wasn't like, you know just like, oops,
Okay,
surprise.
like how small are we talking? Because like
Oh, it was like
I feel
chapstick,
so bad for this guy. He's short and he's
and
okay.
he's
I'm sorry. Say that again.
little. It's like chapstick. Like it was
Oh.
like chapstick. Yeah,
Ugh.
like pinky size. Like, and I have small
Oh.
pinkies. Yeah. It was real small.
Okay.
And it
And
was
then you
like
just
one of those
pieced
things like,
out.
yeah, I was just like, I think my friends are looking for me. Like I literally said that to him. Like I'm just like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I actually,
I think just saying sorry about the little guy would have been like, um,
yeah. Like at least like do
wow.
something else to like compensate for it and then be like, oh BT dubs. I have
Right.
a tiny, tiny penis. Like, no.
That reminds me of Sex in the City.
Yes, yes, exactly. It was
Oh,
not long, pink, and amazing. It was not. No.
this poor guy.
I know.
Cause like, what
I
can you
wonder what
do?
he's
You
doing.
can't do
He's
anything
probably
about
married
it.
now.
No?
I know. I know. He's probably married now, and his wife is probably loving life. He probably got really good at like eating people out and just
I
was
mean, he
going to
should.
town.
That should be a skill that he acquired because
Yeah.
you gotta compensate somehow.
Well, and he wasn't even, it wasn't even like he was soft and he was like a grower. Like he was neither a grower nor a shower. Like he was both. Like neither of it
So he
happened.
was at like
He was
ready to
rock
go.
hard chapstick, like Burt's
Wow.
Bees, right right in his pants. No thanks.
Oh no.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh
Then on
no.
the flip side, not too long after that, I met a guy that he was looking for an apartment, and he was huge. He was like this guy was like 6'8", and I was like, hello, hello,
Hi.
and he had some swagger to him. So like he was really like really kind of cute. He also has
Yeah.
twins, so that's really funny. Um,
Oh.
and we were both really big fans of 90s country, like super big fans, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he invited me over one night, like to he after he moved into his place. It wasn't at my apartment complex, it was like a half hour away. He invited me over, and we were like drinking some beer on the patio, like he had the fireplace going, like whatever. And he was like, "Do you want to stay over?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Whatever. Thinking, obviously, I know what's gonna happen. Like, duh. So we literally are messing around, and I wish I could be making this up, but I'm not. He literally like says to me, "Are you ready for Big Bird?"
No.
And I'm like, "What?"
What's with these guys like preparing
I
you?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And he was not lying either. I was like,
Oh.
holy crap. But it was weird because it was like kind of like a really big turnoff when he said it. I was like, this is just like, I'm sorry about the little guy. Like, this is like the
Right.
exact opposite. And
And Big Bird.
Big Bird was Big Bird. He was not lying. And I was like, it was almost like I was scared. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be ripped in half. So it might be a good reason. It might be a good time to just excuse myself. Um,
Yeah.
I
That
don't
also
remember
reminds
what
me
I
of Sex in
said.
the City.
Yes, I have like replays of Sex and the City. Like it's it's insane. It's I don't know.
Wow.
There's another one where my let's see. So it was really popular to do like you would like you were married at this time, so I don't know what you knew about and what you know you were into back in Chicago, but it was really popular to get like a party bus or like a limo, like a Hummer, and like stretch limo and like go out for your
Mm-hmm.
birthday. So that's what I did one
Mm-hmm.
day, um, for my birthday. And when I tell you that when I texted a couple friends today and I said, "Hey, send me some stories that I've told you over the years, like of just random shit that has happened to me,"
Yeah.
because the fact that I'm even still alive is like crazy. Because the
Like give
shit
me the
because
best of.
yeah, literally like I don't even know. So my one friend texts me and she's like, "Well, I still have you in my phone as Hum Diggs," and I'm like, "What?" And I forgot about this, but she reminded me that when we got a limo for my birthday. I think it was like 2007. So I was still in Arizona. We got a limo for my birthday. It was a Hummer limo. And somehow, after many drinks were consumed, I ended up in the front seat with the limo
Oh.
driver. All my friends were in the back.
Oh.
And I decided that I was going to give him a Hummer in the Hummer limo
Oh, because that
while
makes
he was
sense.
driving. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which I've never done except for that time. And
I love you.
allegedly, the next mo-
I'm, I'm
the
keeping
next
you.
the next morning I wake up and for some reason my hands up to my elbows were just dirty. Like it looked like I was digging somewhere. And so my friend put me in her phone as Hum Diggs. She's like, it looks like you literally like blew him and then you buried him somewhere. And I'm like, maybe I did. I don't know. I can't even tell you where he is.
But
Don't even
why? Why? Did you find out why?
know. I
Does
never
anyone
find out
know?
why. No, no.
Did the
There's
limo company ever say where'd our driver go?
no. So
Okay,
he
then
must have
you're
he must
good.
have gone home. He must have made it back,
So
but
you
that's
probably didn't bury him then.
probably not.
Yeah,
But
safe to
for
say.
some reason, I always end up like I'll black out and then like get super dirty somehow. Like I don't know if I like fall on the ground. I took a sidewalk nap in Vegas that has nothing to do with the dating story, but yeah, I took it yeah, in front of Margaritaville. Definitely
Yeah.
that
I'm
was in
so glad that you're
2009.
still here with us today, because that you're
Me
right.
too,
That's
because my asshole friends like they let me wander off after I took a shot, and
oh
I
girl,
think
you got me now. I'm never gonna let you
oh,
disappear, sleep on
you
the
hear that, Maddie?
sidewalk.
You hear that? It's my best friend. Um, what else? Oh, my friend Megan was, I wrote this down because I was like, oh my God, I have to tell you about this. There was one night where, so we were like, I had two roommates, Carrie and Jen, and we were like the party apartment. So like everybody would come over, we'd have theme parties, like we loved hosting, whatever. Well, there were a couple of guys that like were friends of one of my roommates or whatever. And we like somehow made it back into my room, made it back into my bedroom. And he's like, I want to try something. And I was like, okay, like what? And he's like, lay down. And I'm like, okay. And so like he had me lay on my back and like with my head hanging off the bed
Yeah.
and did the whole upside down blowjob thing.
Yeah.
And I did not
It's one of my
I
moves.
yeah, like I did not know about this, right? So like
Yeah.
I literally, Megan could hear me because I was like, I don't know what's happening. I was like so drunk, like I don't know what's happening. And she like could hear me saying that, and she like knocked on my door, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm fine, everything's fine." Like, but I did not know, and she's like, "Make sure you tell her about that." And I'm like, "Okay, got it." But I did not know that that was a thing at the
Yeah.
time,
That's a
and now I
popular
do,
move.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
That's how you get a
no,
call back. I'm just kidding.
seriously. Max, you got
So
moves?
I've
Like
got
from
moves.
friends. You got moves? Um, um, I am about to start doing a thing that I did back in 2017, where I'm gonna do 20 dates in 20 weeks. So
Yes.
I might have some good stories from that. I have my first date on Saturday. Um,
That's so fun.
I know, I know. I have, yeah, it's funny because you probably saw it on my Facebook where he was like, I'm not really looking for a relation or like, I kind of want to like be friends or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I'm a hoot, so I don't, like I'm a good time, so you're missing out kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've been chatting, and he was like, "Well, I could always use more friends." And in my head, I'm like, "I have enough friends, thank you. Like, I'm good now that I've met Christina.
Right.
I'm set.
Yeah.
Friend chapter closed." So, so I've been entertaining the idea, and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, blah blah blah." Well, so I asked him what he was doing tomorrow night because there's like this '90s trivia thing, and we are both fans of like '90s country music and '90s music and stuff. And he has his son, but Saturday night there's music bingo at the same place that we were gonna go for '90s trivia. So I was like, okay, that'll be my first 20 days in 20
That's
weeks.
that's so fun. What a fun date though, too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited because and then of course he's like, are we meeting as friends or is this like a date? And I'm like, did we did we not did we not go over this? You already told me, but that's fine. Um, I just thought of another one. This is probably like one of my favorite, funniest stories ever.
Oh, I'm
Even
excited.
even better than Sorry About the Little Guy and Are You Ready for Big Bird? um, so I started dating this guy Rob, and I'll use his name. He's married. He lives in Arizona, like whatever. and I started dating him, and he was a paramedic at the time. He actually, um, I actually don't even remember. I think we met on a dating app. I think we met like on OkCupid or something. And he was like, when I say he was really skinny, like he was probably 140 pounds. Like he was like
Oh,
real tiny, right? And usually that's not my type. It
yeah.
was like
That
a
doesn't do
big
it for me
joke.
either.
It was a big joke like in high school, and it still carried on that like fat guys with facial hair are like that's my jam. Like that's my thing. And so he was really thin, no facial hair, nothing. Like not my type at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is the Salt River down in Arizona where everybody like tubes down it and like connects tubes, drinks, like it's a
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, right? And I went one day, I got really sunburned, and I had drank a little bit too much to be driving, and I drove back to his house. And I stayed at his house, and I remember like he was putting like lotion on me and stuff, like aloe, and like trying to like help my sunburn or whatever,
Oh, that's
which
nice.
seems really sweet, but he
Yeah.
was a big douchebag.
Mm.
And he ended up having to go to work, and I had been dating him for a little bit, so like he left me at his house, and he ended up going to work. Well, I had to poop so bad, right? Like I had to poop so bad. And I go in the master bedroom or the master bathroom, and I like go to lift the toilet seat up. I'm like, oh, there's fucking no water in here. Like, what the hell? So I'm thinking, I'm like,
What?
that's weird. Yeah, like, right? I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had to poop so bad. So I like pooped, right? And I get done pooping, I wipe, whatever. Toilet doesn't flush. Nothing. There's no water in the tank. There's no water in the bowl. There's no water nowhere. And
What?
I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, this whole toilet's broken, and I just took the biggest dump of my life, and I'm like hungover. Like, what am I gonna do? Right? So
Mm-hmm.
I like text him, and I was like, hey, did you know your toilet's not flushing? And he's like, yeah, it's broken. And I'm like, awesome. And I was
Cool.
like, then why did you poop in it? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, there's poop in this toilet. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, he did not understand. And I was like, oh yeah, you definitely pooped in this toilet. I totally
You
blamed
blamed
it
it
on
on
him.
him.
I totally blamed it on him. I was like, that's really gross if you knew this was broken. Like I literally went along with it. And I called my best friend Maddie, of course, back in Chicago, and I'm like, Maddie, what do I do? He's like, you get the hell out of there is what you do. Like
You
literally I was just like, oh my
leave.
God.
You change your name.
Yeah, like I could not even believe it. We definitely did not date after that. I think he really figured out that it was me that pooped in there.
Oh
So
my god.
I
You're
mean,
just like,
how do
this
you
is your
forget?
problem now.
I'm
Bye.
like, oopsie, oopsie poopsie, literally, gotta go, bye. Yeah,
That's probably one of the best stories I've heard.
I and it's so funny too because yeah, that was probably one of the I just love that one. I was like,
No, that was Oopsie Poopsie might beat out.
Oop-
Sorry. Sorry about the little guy.
sorry about the little guy. Oopsie poopsie. There was the most recent one. So I the most recent one I had was a couple of years ago. I'm saying this like a couple of years ago. Like it was 2022. Right before I
Okay.
got Phoebe actually. And my friend that nicknamed me Humdigs, um
Could be your name in my phone too.
oh God. Oh Jesus, you're welcome. You're welcome, Danny Ray. It's carrying on. Um so Danny Ray and I went and saw Margaret Cho at the Improv up
Hmm.
here, and then we went out for drinks at this bar like right by my apartment at the time. And this bartender like started hitting on her, and she's married, has two kids, like she's taken, clearly. And
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of hitting on her, and she was obviously like rejecting him. And then I was telling her, I was like, he's actually really cute. Like, I want to make out with him. Like, totally. So he was like, feeding us drinks, whatever. He ended up getting off work and sitting with us. And then we ended up going to another bar together, like closer to my house, closer to his house too, apparently. So I had, I had ordered an Uber, and all of a sudden he like calls, like, I gave him my number, obviously. He calls me. He's like, I'm gonna go get my car. And I'm like, okay. He calls me and he's like, cancel the Uber, just get out here. And I was like, okay. Like, how is he? Whatever, whatever. So we get out there, and when I say that he was driving a 12-passenger rape van, I am not kidding. He literally had a 12-passenger white, like, construction van that was
Like
his
windowless
vehicle.
van.
It had windows. It had windows.
Okay.
But
Well, that's
he
slight
literally,
improvement.
I was laughing so hard. I'll send you the video that I have in Snapchat where I'm just like
Oh,
dying
please
laughing because
do.
he was like in the video. I was like, he says, cancel the Uber and get out here right now. And so like we went outside, and Danny Ray and I are just cracking up. We're like, we are about to get abducted. Like, we've seen some
Yes.
shit together. Like, I met her in Arizona, and she now lives
Mm-hmm.
out here in Baraboo. And like, we've seen some shit, like, being friends together. We have some great Vegas stories, like, whatever. But when I say, like, we got in the van, I got in the driver's
Oh,
or
you got
driver's seat.
in.
Oh yeah, we got in. We're just like,
Okay.
okay, cancel the Uber, let's go. So we go
Okay.
back to the next bar, and then after that bar, we go back to my house. She was staying at my house because she lives like an hour and a half away. So she was staying at my house
Mm-hmm.
that night, and I had a really tiny apartment at the time. Like, literally just like my bedroom, and that's basically it. And so she went upstairs and went to sleep, and me and this guy, we totally hooked up, like, on my street. The cops came. Yeah, the cops came, and they like knocked on the window, and I'm like scrambling to put clothes on. And he goes outside, and he's like,
It's still in the van.
we're in the van, and he like steps outside to talk to the cops, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And he was so drunk, and they were like, everything's fine, just turn off the van, like, turn it off, because he apparently had it running, and we like went in the back. I don't remember barely any of this,
Yeah.
but I was like, man, I'm celebrating my 40th like no other. And I don't drink very often, but when I do, I make up for lost time a
You
lot.
make great choices.
Yes. I used to actually, in Arizona, I used to say that I would make bad decisions with great outcomes.
I mean,
Because
it's
I got
worked.
some
I mean, you haven't been murdered yet, so that's
good,
exciting.
right. I've embraced the BBW now. I've embraced that. I know that, like, that's a thing. Guys like that, because before it was like,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in my 20s on dating sites, like, I was a size 14 or 16, but I still thought I was like super fat. And now I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
wish I was that size again, whatever. But now I'm like embracing the big beautiful woman kind of thing. And
Yeah,
when I was
as
talking
you
to this,
should.
right, right, exactly. But I was talking to this guy, and he was like, he was like, I love BBWs because they give the best head. And I'm like, it's because we're hungry. That's why. I dated this guy back in 2017. It was right around my birthday because he like made me dinner for my birthday. So he made me lobster ravioli for dinner for my birthday. And
Yeah.
I don't like seafood at all. And he knew this. Like, I don't
Oh,
know what's going on. And then he
yeah.
tells me, we were like dating for, it was like a week. Like, it was nothing like serious, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then he like adds me on Facebook, and I see that like an hour later, I like look at his Facebook and he has a girlfriend. And I'm like, wait, what?
What?
So I like
Why
called
did
him
he
out
add
on it, and
you?
I'm like, what is happening? And then later on, like when I say we still talk, he messages me all the time on Messenger. Like for instance, last night he messaged me, and then he messaged me today. Like he works second shift, and he messaged me like right before I got on here, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, he's still like he like invites me to go play bingo with him and his family and like all this stuff, and he's like an old man, like in a 37-year-old man's body. Like it's
And he
insane.
still does he have a girlfriend now, or are they married now or anything? Or
No, he doesn't have a girlfriend, but what's
okay.
funny is the girl that he was in a relationship with when like he had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
um what's funny is he told me later on, like a year later or something, that she actually ate the leftover lobster ravioli that he made me. She like had it for dinner like the next night
So
or
what
something
was
like that.
she
And I was
doing?
like,
Because you said it was Valentine's Day, right?
yep.
What was she doing that day that
I
she?
guess they weren't together at that time. And then like 3 days
Okay.
later, then now they're in a relationship.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
that timing. I hope she
So
enjoyed the leftovers
me too. Sloppy
in
seconds.
all
Have
senses.
fun. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. It's fun, right? Like,
So fun. It's so fun dating and so fun being on these dating sites.
I like that you brought up talking about size though, because that was something I was really nervous about going into dating because I met my husband when I was 15 and I was this like skinny little teenager. And then I gained weight,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the years. And so going into dating from when I hadn't dated since I was like a size 2, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
am I gonna even like meet anyone? Is everyone just gonna be really mean to me? Like I just didn't know what to expect, and I have had no problems,
Mm-hmm.
none. That's not it hasn't been
Well,
an
I mean,
issue
you're
at
gorgeous.
all
Like,
for like
why would
anyone.
you have an issue?
Oh, thank you, but I was just concerned. I thought because I posted full body pictures because I don't want to like deceive anyone.
Yeah.
But like, or have someone meet me and be like, "Oh, okay, she's a little bit heavier than her like she looks in her pics." But so I posted full body pictures, but like there were guys I never thought in a million years would be interested in me who were like hitting me up. Gym
Mm-hmm.
bros love a bigger girl.
100%.
Like that's the one category I just thought would not be into like, someone with a
No.
little bit extra weight. And my
Cool. Well, thank you so much for
yeah.
having me.
Oh, thank you for joining me, especially so last minute. And I love the
Of course.
stories and now I don't know what to name it because now I'm torn.
Yeah. I don't even know. I wouldn't be
Too
mad if you
good.
named it Oopsie Poopsie.
It's so good.
And it
So
just is
good.
like a good cliffhanger.
It really is. Oh,
What is
I'm
this
so
about?
glad I met you. I'm so glad Rachel sat us at the same
I
table.
know, me too. I'm so glad that we met. We have to definitely get together. Like,
Oh,
we'll have to like meet halfway or something. Your halfway
yeah.
would be in Canada, so sorry about that.
Yeah, awesome. We'll
We'll have
work
to
something
meet
out. We'll
halfway,
get
and
together.
yeah, for sure. For
Cool.
sure. All right. Well, it was
All
good talking
right.
to you.
Thanks. You too. Have a good night.
You too.
We're back. Wow, that was spicy.
It was
Whew.
very spicy.
Warm in here. Wow.
Yeah, Amber had some great stories.
I better not ask for chapstick now.
No. I will never look at Chapstick the same again, ever. So, thank you again, Amber, for joining us.
Yeah, that was.
We loved having you. I loved having you. This guy, he bailed.
Responsibilities.
Yes, responsibilities. But next week we will have Jared, and Max will be here for that, which will be interesting. It should be fine, right? Like he asked if it would be weird. I'm like, I don't think it will.
No,
We
I
went
don't
on
think
one
so.
date. We weren't like in a relationship, so Should be fine. Even if we were, I don't think you'd care. You're not typically a jealous guy.
No.
No. So, is there a reason for that, or just you just?
Uh, I was never a super jealous person, but there's been a couple instances in relationships where I was a little more jealous, and then things just happen. So I'm just kind of like, well, whatever happens, happens. I mean, if the person you're with chooses to do something else, then that's their choice, and it was not meant to be.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and maybe we can get to that into that some point is like, you know, if someone does cheat on you or does something kind of shady, do you continue to stay in the relationship or? But I see, I was never in a relationship where it was further enough down the line that we were.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just trust me, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way. Like I used to get really jealous like when I was younger. But I think now I've been through enough therapy, and I think I talked about this in talked about it last week, where if a person's going to cheat, they're going to do it whether you are like up their ass about it or not. And so I try to be very like mindful in who I choose to give my heart to and hope that that person's not going to do that to me. And so far I've been very fortunate to not experience that. I hope it stays that way.
Only time will tell.
No, but like that's the thing. Like I feel like, and I think we communicate enough and we're in a healthy situation where we both trust each other. So like I don't get that jealous either. I don't know. Except for the dog. Dog takes all your attention away from you. That's fine. I love her too, so.
Well, yeah, because you gotta take it outside constantly.
Yeah.
Or she'll poop in the house.
Yeah. Poop is been used so often in this episode already. It's funny because like I need to warn my friend Shannon about that. She does not like the word poop because she feels like you can see with the P in the beginning and the P at the end. Because she's fine with poo, but poop, she feels like you can see the word because it ends. Yeah. So sorry, Shannon, for all the poop.
That's what do they call it? A palindrome?
Yeah.
Poop.
Yeah, poop. Oh man, she's gonna hate this episode. Okay, so we have two options. We have one where someone was dumped and blindsided, or we have someone with sex issues in their relationship. Which one do you think we should pick?
Do the sex issue since it's a theme.
All right,
It's a theme this week.
She says, this is anonymous. She says, advice or encouragement needed, please. My husband and I are in our early 30s and have been married for about 2.5 years. We currently have sex about 2 times a month, and I wish it were more often. He's not in the mood for sex. About 6 months ago, he got his testosterone levels checked, and they were low. He's been getting injections at the doctor's office, but they're still low. He's an amazing husband. I'll do anything to make this work. I'm just struggling with the rejection part of this, and I fear our sex life will only go downhill from here. It's frustrating because I feel like our sex life is not a high priority on his list, and there are a lot of things he'd rather be doing. I have a hard time talking to him about this because I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Well, that's the first thing is talking about it. You have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can't let it. But there's so much stuff out there that he can take. Like, I mean, just going through, like, Instagram, you see them all the time. I mean, I'm not going to, promote them, but they pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
And every company has them now. So you can take something from, putting powder into water, or pills, or gum, or mints, or candy.
So what do you think about the fact that he doesn't seem interested in it to begin with? Like, it's not a priority for him. Like,
but that's where they have to talk about it, because maybe he feels he is making an effort, but she doesn't see it, and so they need to be on the same page. So that's where you need to talk about it, and then maybe set something up, do things that maybe kind of like can rekindle or respark, going on a date night or just taking a weekend trip, and or maybe she can do some research and she can find something that he can take that's simple. Because I know there's stuff where it's it's gum, and you just pop it in like a half hour before, and it's supposed to, do amazing things, and like there's so much stuff out there now that you can take to help, but also if his testosterone is low, that could be a big reason too, and
Yeah.
kind of give it time. But yeah, I think the first thing is they have to communicate about it. It's not an easy subject to talk about, but I mean you're married and you have a good relationship, so that's the first thing. Just talk about it, and if you have to, maybe go to therapy,
Oh
a
yeah.
couples therapy.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think that sex is not as important in a relationship as it actually is, and there are definitely relationships that sex isn't a part of it for whatever reason, for health, for whatever reason they can't have a sexual part of the relationship, and they make it work, and that's absolutely true. They can do that, but when you're especially in your 30s, I feel like it's such an important part to like keep alive, and if you don't maintain that part of your relationship, it affects the rest of your relationship
Yeah.
too. And I mean, you talked about it in the beginning of the episode, like it detract like it wears on you, right? Like it makes you feel like your partner doesn't want you anymore, and like that sucks. That's a shitty feeling, and to not have that part of your relationship, I feel like it'll eventually bleed into other parts. And so I think having a discussion about that, even if you're afraid you're going to hurt his feelings, I think it's important in the longevity of the relationship in general, especially in like just having a healthy relationship where you can communicate with each other about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have any funny clips. They're all going to be from Amber.
Yeah. But this is more of a serious
It is.
podcast.
This one is, yeah.
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 There's always jokes. You'll find
There's
jokes.
always something. We're so cute. Aren't we cute?
Sure.
You said that after we took our first picture together. You were like, wait, we're so cute.
Oh, that was a line.
Was it really?
No, actually we were. It was because I'm not very photogenic. You may think I am, but I hate seeing myself in photos because I have what they call we call it the Casado smile. It's my mom's side, and so everyone in like our family on the Casado side it's like a forced smile. And my son has the same one. It's just like it just looks creepy. Like we can laugh and we can smile
Yeah.
when we're doing something fun,
Yeah.
but when you have to like take a photo, it just looks so weird. So like a lot of my dating profiles, I have like just this look. People are like, do you ever smile? I'm like, yeah, I smile, but it's that forced like.
Well, that's
creepy
what
smile.
I'm saying. Like when I saw you in person, I'm like, oh my god, he's cute because like you just like you're not great at a selfie.
No, I suck
No.
at it.
You're better at it when I do it though. I know your angles.
But I think like what guy wants to say like, I'm great at selfies, but I did.
There are some guys who
I
love
don't,
a selfie.
I don't have a gym pic and I don't have a fish pic.
Nope.
So.
That's a green flag for me. Although I've dated guys who had both.
I think the only way,
So.
but if I had a fish pic, would be a huge fish.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I mean, couldn't you just crop it so you're just showing yourself and not the fish?
But they're proud. They're really proud of that fish. The point of that picture is not them. It's the look at what I caught.
But see, women say no gym pics. But do you know how many females have pics of themselves in the gym?
I don't because
they want to show off.
I don't see women's profiles.
Well, they want to show off, so they're always. I
Are there a
guarantee
lot?
if you go through one, probably 5 out of 10 women have a pic of themselves at the gym, either like a booty shot or them
For
just
real?
showing. Yeah, there's tons. But that doesn't bother me. I don't think that's. I just think that they like to show off, or they show like, hey, I'm active, or this or that. So.
Yeah, I don't have gym pics, so that wasn't a thing for me. But I didn't know that was a thing. But I haven't seen that side of dating apps, so that's
I put
probably
my
why.
phone in the locker. I don't even bring my phone out.
What do you listen to?
Well, I have a trainer, so I don't do it.
Oh, but when you
But
go by yourself, what
I
do you
still
do?
put it in there because the gym is compact,
Yeah.
so it still reaches. So I put
Oh,
my AirPods
okay.
in and I just double, because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose it.
Yeah. No, I always had mine with me, but I always had my like plan on it too. Like whatever I was doing was on it. So, yeah, that's off topic. This is riveting. This is a
Yeah,
really,
we're bouncing.
really good
Yeah,
one.
We're bouncing around.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up. So, again, cut it out.
Troy Gladstone,
That's
you know what I'm going to say, right?
Go
Detroit
ahead.
guy.
You said, what did you say last time? Detroit's finest.
One of Detroit's finest.
One of-
Not really. he's not like when you think of Detroit, you don't think of Joey Gladstone.
No, I didn't even know it, but it made sense because he wore that jersey all the time.
Yeah.
Never put that together.
There's a lot of people that are Detroit that people don't realize, you know.
Because they're in San Francisco, so it doesn't even make sense that he was wearing that.
Well, they're not really in San Francisco,
No,
but yeah,
like,
I know.
in the show.
Like last night, Big Sean, right? He's a Detroit guy.
Yeah.
And then the comedian, I can't think of his name.
We're like watching TV. He's like Detroit.
Yeah. Key and Peele.
Yeah.
One half is from Detroit.
Gotta love a Michigan guy. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
It's told good choice. You got
Sports related. They said I think of all the NFL players, like Detroit was represented in more than any other city, which is shocking because Detroit's not like a huge hotbed for football, but you know, it comes and comes. So yeah.
That's interesting.
And Eminem's new, songs out, so everyone's gonna be all about 313.
Yeah, we would sample it, but we don't have the money to pay for that. So, yeah. So next week we will have Jared here with us, and yeah. Until then, have a good week.
Au revoir.
Bye.